Don't look like a monkey fucking a football. It's Filmshake, the 90s movies podcast. I'm Jordan.
And this is Nick.
And this is episode 96. We're back talking 1990 movies this year. And today we have a double feature of Tony Scott movies. Our main movie being Days of Thunder. And this was Nick, your pick once again.
That's right, Days of Thunder. A movie that was very important to me back in the 90s. And this is why we do this show, Jordan. For me, at least. It's two reasons. Discovering new 90s movies maybe I somehow didn't watch, but also revisiting the movies from the 90s I watched so many times back then, but never really watched outside of the 90s. And I watched Days of Thunder so many times, particularly in the mid-90s. And I haven't seen it this century. So it was a no-brainer when we said we were going to cover 1990 movies. We had to cover Days of Thunder.
Well, yeah, and this was an introduction to me. I'd never seen this. I was supposed to watch Our Punishment movie, which I had also never seen, another Tony Scott film, but didn't get around to that. But yeah, an important part of the show for me, too, is discovering new 90s movies. So it's fun to dive into this one. But before we do, can you tell us a little bit about the movie I was supposed to watch that you punished yourself with, apparently?
That's right.
Which is not a new thing for the show, but...
In a classic Filmshake scenario, last episode, we had a trivia battle. It was one-sided in that only I wrote the questions.
Only you wrote the questions, and then only you watched the Punishment movie.
And only I watched the Punishment film that I believe Jordan was supposed to watch. That film is 1990's Revenge.
Kevin Costner is a man who loves his freedom.
I'm going on a vacation, man. I'm not going to work for anybody, all right?
It's good to see you.
Anthony Quinn is a man who loves his power.
This is Mireya, my wife. This is Jay, my friend.
Tippy's told me a lot about you.
She was the last thing in the world he wanted.
Do you think my wife is beautiful?
Hi.
Hello.
What do you want me to say? Of course.
What are you doing here?
Well, the truth is I was bored.
Until she became the only thing in the world he wanted.
Do you feel the way I feel?
I don't know that I have the right to feel anything.
Because a woman like that,
Forget about right or wrong.
do almost anything to keep her.
When love turns to obsession.
For a long time, I didn't let myself want anything.
This is what we don't do. We don't forget who we are. We don't forget where we are.
You think that you're taking another man's way?
There are no rules.
I love you.
Shall I have him killed?
Kevin Costner, Anthony Quinn, Madeline Stowe, in a film by Tony Scott.
Where is she?
Revenge.
All right, Jordan. So when I set this movie up as The Punishment, the thought was, well, this didn't get great reviews, but Days of Thunder didn't get great reviews either. The main difference is Days of Thunder made a lot more at the box office, and Days of Thunder had kind of a reappraisal. It's a movie that's looked back at rather fondly now by a lot of people. You never hear anyone talk about Revenge. It doesn't come up very often. One of our listeners, and he was one of our patrons when we had a Patreon, Spacesides, 1985, told me that he and a friend, I think his friend perhaps made a perfect version of this film, which combines elements of the original cut and the director's cut.
Huh. They liked it that much, huh?
Well, he was going to try to get this version to me. I unfortunately haven't seen that version. All I've seen is the theatrical cut, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a punishment for me, Jordan.
You did it to yourself.
That's right. I should have said, no, Jordan, you're watching it. But I said, you know what? I'll watch it. I'll watch Revenge. You know, Jordan, not a big Kevin Costner fan. I do like Kevin Costner, so I'll watch this. And something I didn't realize, the director's cut is almost half an hour shorter than Revenge from 1990. 17 years later, there was an unrated director's cut, and the big touting, of course, being 2000's director's cut is there's way more sex in it. There's more violence, but way more sex. But apparently, it's also 30 minutes shorter. And the main issue I had with this film is it's so damn boring, Jordan. It just goes on and on and on.
Man, I'm glad I didn't watch it.
It's so long. It's 2 hours and 4 minutes. Those extra 4 minutes.
You're killing me with these 4 minutes.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. And Tony Scott's movies usually aren't boring.
Yeah, he's at least exciting or, action-oriented things going on, so.
Right.
What is this movie about exactly?
Well, it makes sense to me that he would cut out a lot for a director's cut, because this is based on a novella of the same name by Jim Harrison, which was published in Esquire magazine in 1979. Apparently, people are big fans of this piece. It's just revenge, Jordan. I mean, there's nothing sophisticated here. Kevin Costner is this fighter pilot who retires. He's got this older buddy in Mexico that he goes to spend some time with. Kevin Costner has never found love. But Jordan, guess what? This old man, played by Anthony Quinn, is married to a smoking hot Madeline Stowe, which I have to say, this is the weirdest thing. So we did 1999 movies last year, and
right.
I did a big project to watch as many movies as I could from 1999, and I created a database on thenexperiment.blogspot.com. I've cataloged every film I watched from that year. I think I'm at around 150, and I didn't get to every one last year. I'm going to get to the stragglers throughout the rest of my life, which who knows how long that'll be.
You're going to watch all 9,000 movies from
Right.
1999?
Right, yeah. And I've caught a few this year. One of them was The General's Daughter, which was a terrible film. An awful film.
You were texting me about how hot Madeline Stowe is in that, right?
Right. So that's 9 years after this. And it's the weirdest thing. So Madeline Stowe, from the entirety of the film, even though she's basically just playing a military investigator, she's wearing jodhpurs, like jockey pants that are like skin tight. And I know I was crass last episode, but look, I'm single and lonely and horny, and I'm sorry, listeners. You guys and girls, y'all can find me somebody to where I'll feel bad talking this way, but right now I don't. Madeline Stowe has a fantastic ass, and I think whenever they were making The General's Daughter, they said, this movie sucks. Get her in some tight pants. And get her to face away from the camera, because we got nothing going here.
We got nothing else. We just need Madeline Stowe's ass.
Now I know where they got the idea, Jordan. They got that idea from 9 years before when she was in Revenge, and she's introduced wearing jockey pants. And literally...
They were like, those jockey pants she was wearing in that movie that bombed back in 1990? Get us those pants.
Right.
We need those pants.
Yeah. She's walking toward the camera wearing the pants, and I was like, holy shit, she's wearing the jodhpurs. This is where it came from.
This is the origin story of the ass.
Right, the origin story of the ass. And Kevin Costner is pulling up in his Jeep, and he sees her in a distance, and he's like, holy
of course
shit.
He has a Jeep. What a douche.
Well, dude, you would hate him in this movie so much. I'll get to why in a minute. Besides just the fact that he's Kevin Costner, but he's like, she's wearing jockey pants. Whoa. And of course, he turns and looks back at her, and, this being Madeline Stowe, she just looks back over her shoulder so the camera can be like, damn, Madeline's dragging a wagon. Look at that. Bet she didn't guess that.
Dragging a wagon. Oh my, that's what the cameraman literally said. Like if you put on the subtitles, that's what the movie says right there. Dragging a wagon. Sounds of dragging a wagon, Stowe's ass.
Right, because you don't expect it. She's got that tiny little frame, and this is before every other person on earth had a Brazilian butt lift, which I read an article about how bad those smell, Jordan. Stay away from those. I heard those things stink. Because basically, God makes your arms the exact length they need to be to wipe your butt. So if you make your butt bigger artificially, you can't reach back there and wipe like you're supposed to, Jordan.
What the fuck?
So then it stinks. Then it smells terrible.
How did we get here? Where are we going?
No. I'll get out of this. So anyway, a lot of people have their Brazilian butt lifts reversed because of the smell. But Jordan, Madeline Stowe was born with this ass, so she must have the arms to wipe it.
Born with the Brazilian ass.
That's right. Yeah, she's Costa Rican. That's the whole thing.
Oh, well, yeah.
She's Costa Rican, and she has the proportionate arms to wipe this ass, Jordan. But I'll tell you what, you would not think she is Costa Rican from her accent.
I love
here.
how you've investigated this. You've brought it to the table here.
Yeah, I investigated this after the
wiping,
general
especially.
Slaughter. Yeah, yes. With under a fine-tooth comb.
You're
with
like,
a
Madeline
microscope.
Stowe's ass doesn't smell.
I'm sure it doesn't. You know, and even better, Jordan, if anyone listened to our episode where we talked about I Come in Peace, listeners found that I love Brian Benben. I love that guy.
Right.
He's been all up in that ass, Jordan, because they've been married for like 40 years.
This is the episode where I die.
My
God.
secret plan to make you have a stroke too. It's this episode.
Right. I have a stroke from laughter, not from sneezing. That's how I want to go out, honestly.
Right. Well, her accent in this sounds so bad. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, but she's playing a character whose name is an anagram of her mother's name in real life, which her mother's name is Mireia. Her name is very similar to that in this, but it's just a simple plot, Jordan. Like,
yeah, we were talking about the plot. Somehow we got into
there's like almost
Brazilian
no plot.
butt lifts, but okay.
Right. There's almost no plot here. He plays like the kind of guy you would definitely think is a douche where he's like, I don't know, like, I've never been in love, or like, I don't really know who I am, but like, I'm really tall and I have this California accent. And, yeah. And he like just shows up and steals his old buddy's wife away, who's Madeline Stowe. And he steals her away, but for some reason he doesn't realize that his old buddy is like a drug lord or an arms dealer or something. I don't know.
Wait, maybe this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Right. For a second there, I'm thinking like, okay, all right, I'm kind of in this because, you know, Body Heat, I've come to find out, I think Body Heat isn't a guilty pleasure of mine. I think that might be one of my top 10 films. I love Body Heat.
No, Body Heat's just a good movie. Yeah, Body Heat's great.
I love that movie. And I really love William Hurt in that film, and I really empathize with his character and strangely identify with the character outside of the husband murdering. But in this movie, it's the Madeline Stowe character who... she has the moment like Kathleen Turner did in Body Heat, you know, where she's like, I'm weak, and then shuts the door. And then you think like, okay, well, what's Costner going to do here? Because in Body Heat, William Hurt goes back and throws a damn chair through the window and goes in there and has sex with her.
Right.
But that's not what happens in this movie. Stowe won't leave him alone. He's just totally passive. He's like, well, I guess like I'll have sex with you since you came back in here.
I love the accent.
So they have sex.
Has she become the femme fatale and like have him kill her husband?
No. See, I thought something like that would happen, but it is the most bare bones revenge plot that only needs to be 80 to 90 minutes long max. Like even the director's cut length sounds too long because they have an affair. The first time they get it on, I think like La Bamba or something is playing while her husband is dancing outside during a party. And he finds out, of course, and then he doesn't murder them. He shoots Costner's dog. She runs away with Costner to Costner's cabin, which I think is still in Mexico. He shows up with like a big posse. They shoot Costner's dog dead. Then they cut her in the face, and then he sends her to a brothel and burns Costner's cabin down after beating him. But he doesn't, this is what I don't get. And maybe it's because he was friends with Costner that he doesn't just outright kill him, because he really should have beat him and left him for dead in the house. But instead, he throws him in his car, and then they just throw him on the side of the road and leave him for dead, which is kind of goofy. Like, I don't get why they didn't just kill him. I thought that was kind of dumb. I don't know. I mean, the movie's already so long, and I was bored, but not too bored, or I wasn't like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Questioning the choices still.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you start cutting between Costner recovering. And Jordan, by this point, you're like 90 minutes into this damn movie already, waiting for their revenge to happen. You don't even get to the event that spurns on the revenge until you get that far. And you start cutting between her having to have sex with all these men in this brothel and getting injected with drugs. And she comes down with AIDS. Snap. And then Costner like finally recovers, and then he goes and tries to find the Anthony Quinn character to get revenge, and he kills a few people, finally runs into him, and then Anthony Quinn's like, you need to apologize to me for stealing my wife. And he's like, I'm sorry, bruh. I'm sorry. And he's like, well, but where is she? And he's like, hey, go look at this convent. She lives with nuns now, and she's dying of AIDS. You can tell her goodbye. And then he does. He goes and tells her goodbye and holds her as she dies, and that's the end, Jordan.
Whoa.
That's it.
So, like, he makes up with the Anthony Quinn character just by, like, saying sorry, and then he watches the wife die, and that's it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the scene of them talking it out. I thought that was a little different. That was kind of neat since
it is different.
The whole thing was predicated on their friendship, and the movie wasted like 90 minutes on that. So, at least it's like, well, I guess that was important since we made you watch it for so long. But yeah, then he just gets there and he's like, "Oh, I love you," and then she dies, and then the movie's over. And he cries, and that's it. Credits. You just spent more than 2 hours
like
watching
a total
this movie,
douche.
and it wasn't that great, and it was kind of boring, and it's done. 3 out of 10.
Classic Costner being a douche role. And see, when you picked Kevin Costner movie and an early Tom Cruise movie. Now, I have mostly good feelings about Tom Cruise as an actor in general. Like, I think he can be a good actor, and he has a lot of charisma and everything, but he often does play a douche and comes across as a douche. And so I'm like, is this the douche double? We have Costner and Cruise, just both douchey characters. And, getting into Days of Thunder.
No, wait. One more. Wait. No, not yet, Jordan. Not yet. I need to talk about Costner for another. No, I'm not going to talk about BBLs anymore, but just about Costner in general before you get into Tom Cruise. And we didn't even set up.
BBLs. Is that the acronym we're using now just to keep it nice and short?
No, that is the acronym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
all right.
That's like a thing, Jordan. Jordan's 2025, buddy. Kim Kardashian was on the cover of Playboy like 18 years ago. So Costner, we've talked about this at length way back in the day when we first started covering movies that Kevin Costner was in. I do think that the half a decade age difference between the two of us has given me a higher estimation of Costner because I grew up watching his movies. I was just the right age to watch him in the movies that he was the best in, that he was best suited to, because he does have like a little boy's energy. Like in a lot of his movies, he's like, "Ooh, yucky girls. I just want to do like action stuff." And then at the end, he's like, "All right, I guess I'll smooch the girl," right? Like just like you would be when you were like 7 or 8. He's got that energy in a lot of movies. You know what I mean? So I usually like him. I can usually forgive that douchey energy that you can't. But this movie, Jordan, I'm with you on Costner in this. I could not overcome the douchey energy. I was on Anthony Quinn's side on being angry. Now, do I think he needed to slash Madeline Stowe's face and throw her in a brothel? No, I don't think so. That was a little overboard. But I did not love Costner in the movie.
You're like, at least he didn't slash her ass in the jogging pants. Like, he kept that intact. Just the face. Okay.
That is right. He didn't slash her. He didn't slash her
booty.
He's like, that's all natural, so I'm not slashing.
He's like, I'm going to pop this tire.
You got me there. All right, that's all I got to say. Let's talk about 1990s Days of Thunder. All right, so you were saying something about how Cruise can have that douchey energy, but Jordan, I found watching this, it just reminded me of how Cruise and Costner were kind of one and the same for me during this time period. He was just like the little hero guy in all these movies in the early 90s.
The little hero guy.
And I liked him, you know?
Yeah.
He was vulnerable in all of these, so it was hard to hate him.
Would you say he was vulnerable in this and hard to hate him here?
Yeah. Would you not say that?
Well, I wanted to get into like his introduction because I was definitely like, okay, here comes Tom Cruise on the motorcycle. And then he's like, yeah, I can drive this car. And he's just kind of like, out of his element, and all the old NASCAR guys are questioning him and stuff. And then he drives the car really good. And I don't know, he's just got this kind of like tough guy, quiet vibe to him. Like you can definitely tell he's trying to put on the tough guyness. But yeah, later we see he's more vulnerable and scared. But yeah, man, everybody wanted to just have sex with Tom Cruise in this movie. Probably Nicole Kidman the least out of the bunch, because it's like as soon as he's on the track and he finishes, they're like, man, that was fast. It's like, good driving. And then just like, you could just tell all these dudes are flirting with him so hard and like want to make out with him. It's so ridiculous.
What? I've never felt that way watching this.
You didn't feel that? No, dude. Like, it was all over the place. It was so hardcore.
I think maybe you felt that way.
Maybe I felt like I wanted to kiss him.
Yeah. You want to lay a little smooch on old Thomas Maypo the fourth.
They were all just flirting so hard.
Nah, I liked him in this. I still liked him in this.
No, I thought he did fine in this, you know? I didn't mind him so much. He did have that kind of douchey energy at first, but then, yeah, he kind of grew on me.
So what'd you think about his name? He plays Cole Trickle here.
Cole Trickle. I just thought a lot of this movie was ridiculous, honestly. I was just asking myself, like, how am I going to get into this having really no interest in NASCAR? And I felt like they did a good job for the most part of like building it up through their relationships and like the Robert Duvall and Cole dynamic, where they're kind of butting heads a lot at the beginning. But it's just like all these relationships that he has with the men throughout this. It just feels very bromancy, where it's just like fighting and having trouble, but then like making up, and I don't know. It felt like Top Gun, like to the next level.
See, when I bring in modern terms to our show, I'm like BBLs. You're like bromance. See, we're not the same this episode.
We're not the same. I'm still stuck in the past. Romance, man. That's like so 2004.
No, man, I like the energy in this film. Again, simple plot here. Tom Cruise just shows up. He's always wanted to be this race car driver, and he gets this spot. Randy Quaid gives him a shot. Duvall is the car maker who's going to make the car for him. They have a race team. He's not really knowing what he's doing, and he and Duvall hate each other. And then they finally come to terms with each other and learn to work well together and become friends. And then he starts winning. Then he crashes. Then he has to sort of find the nerve to race again. And he's also got a buddy played by Michael Rooker, who is also not his buddy at first. They're kind of enemies.
Rowdy, what's his name? Rowdy Burns?
Yeah, the names in this movie are all awesome. Rowdy Burns.
Cole Trickle.
And there's a car accident that happens around a little less than halfway into the movie, and they're both hurt pretty badly. It turns out Rowdy is hurt to where he's not going to be able to race again, but old Cole Trickle, he's got to learn to get his nerve back so he can race again and win Daytona like he always dreamed, Jordan. And
right.
And Nicole Kidman's here too.
I did like Michael Rooker a lot in this, like as the competition or villain, not really villain, but just, you know, somebody to butt up against and fight with on the track and stuff. And then them becoming friends and having that same kind of love me, hate me relationship that he has with Duvall. So yeah, I did like seeing Rooker here. I thought he was good. But yeah, it was just like, it was just all the little touches and like just kind of the over top bromance, like I said, where they get hurt and they're in the hospital and then they're like still competing and they're racing in the wheelchairs down the hall. It's just like, this is so ridiculous.
Man, we grew up around different people, because this is just like normal behavior. Like, I don't get the bromance thing. I don't know. I've always hated that word anyway and thought it was lame. This movie is very over the top. I agree, though. I mean, I'm
breaking up with you.
Yeah, I guess so. Our bromance is over.
Your bromance is over, Nick.
Nah,
how dare you?
I'm with you on the movie being over the top. It is ridiculously over the top. It's so over the top. Almost every minute of it.
Yes. When he goes to Rowdy's house later and he's trying to convince him to go back to the hospital and get help, and he's like, we can fix your head there, we can do it right here, and he's got the baseball bat like beating up his pool table. Just like, what? Like, I guess this convinces him to go to the hospital.
You're doing the same damn thing you always do. You act like you have no testosterone when we record this sometime, but you do, Jordan. Damn it, you do. Stop it. You're doing that thing. And then I'm going to be like, okay, well, how about I throw you in this bush? And all of a sudden you're going to be like, you're not throwing me in the bush. I'm a man, damn it.
What was this about the bush? Like, this come up before?
Yeah, we were at a party once, and you were acting like this.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm going to throw you in a damn bush. And then I did. I tried to, and all of a sudden you were like, I'm going to fight. You're not going to throw me in the bush. And I was like, where's this? You are a man. You got that testosterone.
You are a
it's
man.
It's there. But you're like, no, I got to be like cool, like vulnerable skater boy. Like, I was going to say bromance and like act like I'm not all manly deep down on the inside.
Okay.
But you are.
I mean, I did watch this, with a lady next to me, so that might have influenced my point of view, perhaps.
Right, yeah, because look, bromance is okay. Bromance is their word, Jordan. It's not our word.
That's their word. I accept it. I take it, and I thought it was funny watching it with this point of view. like they all want to kiss Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Well, that's weird.
That's weird.
My point of view watching this was I grew up in rural Poincapie Parish, and I like movies a lot, and I knew the names of the directors of
this
movies.
This is my point of view.
A lot of the people that I went to school with, we didn't really have cliques because there weren't enough people, but there were a group of guys we called the mechanics, and the generally accepted fact about them was none of them are going to go to college. They all are just going to be mechanics when we graduate, and it wasn't even like an insult. It was just like accepted.
That's what you do. Yeah.
It was more an insult that I was going to go to college than that they were going to be mechanics. And they would just talk about their trucks all the time and working on their trucks or whatever. And the one thing that we could kind of come to terms with together and enjoy together was this movie. Someone recorded this movie off of television and brought it to school. And that VHS tape just hung around and bounced between classrooms. And if we had a substitute that was, let's say, malleable, we could say, hey, we don't need to do anything today. Let's just put on this VHS tape. And we'd watch Days of Thunder. And we did that a lot.
Let's just watch Days of Thunder.
So this was like my one point of bonding with the mechanics, Jordan.
With the mechanic guys.
We would watch Days of Thunder. And, I picked up some things from them, like making race car noises for everything all the time.
Making race car noises is what you picked up from
my ex-wife made me stop doing that. And damn it, I'm going to bring that back.
Bring it back, man.
You know what?
You let it rip, brother.
When I edit this episode and I'm like fast forwarding around and I'm going to be like, she'd be like, quit it, Nick. But you know what? I'm just going to do it now.
What would you do that for, though? And what context would you make those noises?
If I would like pass her up in the kitchen, or if I was stirring a bowl, or if I was doing laundry, or if I was putting my
so this was like a
on.
deeply embedded like activity for you, and then she just nixed it.
Right, because I'm sure that's like highly irritating, right? I'm sure that's annoying.
No, you just need to find the right woman who would accept you for who you are.
I guess so, Jordan. But, I guess from you, me and the 27 or so other guys in my graduating class at Falls River Academy all doing this all the time was a bromance.
That's right, it was.
But we watched this movie so many times, and I loved it. And you know what? I still love it. And it has problems.
I'd like to hear your problems with this.
Well, my main issue with the film is this. So, I like how it starts off. I don't get the bromance stuff. I like the way that they introduce Tom Cruise. It's like, okay, this is like the hot up-and-comer guy. But then he starts racing, and immediately he gets
hot
humbled.
Up-and-comer?
Yeah, yeah, sexy, hot. Jordan.
Sexy hot.
Yeah, so hot. Yeah, I wish he would get a BBL.
Crooked Teeth Cruise.
No, he's like hot on the racing circuit, and then he starts racing more, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And you get this great montage, I think, to give me some loving, and you've got him wrecking the car and not knowing how to drive it, and Duvall like just losing it on him and just being totally exasperated.
Duvall likes to throw his hat a lot.
Throwing his hat, and you get into this 14 minutes into the movie. Like, I love how this movie wastes no time getting you into this stuff, and it doesn't feel like it just threw you into it. Like, it feels like in 14 minutes, Scott has earned this montage of racing. I really enjoyed that. I love the pacing in the movie.
I like the moment when they're like, hey, you can't come in because we're all eating ice cream. Because he's just like fed up with him being shitty at driving the car, I guess.
Yeah, which is based on a real life event that happened in a real life race. Yeah. And I love Cruise flying his car in there and being all pissed off. And finally, Cruise has to come to terms with Duvall because if Randy Quaid, who I really like in this movie a lot, he was really good in a lot of stuff in the 90s. We just passed July 4th, which, of course, Independence Day is the big July 4th movie. But it's almost like Randy Quaid Day because really the only time that a lot of people see him every year is for July 4th when they watch Independence Day. But he's in this, or for Christmas when they watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. But he's awesome in this movie. I really like him in this. He is the business guy running things who really needs this to work because he's put it all on the line. And then I love the zippy pace. Everything's going great.
And he's the one that gives us my line from the beginning of the show.
And what do? We end up looking like a monkey fucking a football out there.
That's right.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they just can't get it together because he and Rowdy are crashing into each other. Cruise and Duvall can't get on the same page. Cruise doesn't know what to do with the tires. It's all wacky and crazy. And then Cruise finally wins a race. He finally starts listening to Duvall and racing his way. And then we find out he's won 5 of the 6 last races. And then you have the big car crash, which is not his fault or Rowdy's fault. And they're airlifted up. Jordan, I love this shot from inside the helicopter when they're lifting Tom Cruise up in the air and the wind is whipping through his hair, Jordan. I'm sure you thought that was homoerotic, but I thought that looked really badass and cool.
That just symbolized, like his feelings for the other man. No, there was some really cool shots in this. I remember a lot of the stuff in North Carolina and the out in the field with the tractor with Duvall when they go see him up there and in the barn. Like that big ass cool looking barn they go in. At one point he's talking to the race car that he's going to build, which I thought he was talking to Tom Cruise, where he's like, I'm going to extend your gas line and I'm going to shave off the oil pan, make the wind catch you. And I was like, okay, I guess he's talking to Cruise off screen, but then it just keeps going. I'm like, oh, he's talking to the car. Okay.
I like all that stuff. The first hiccup watching it now is the scene after he wins his first race where they get pulled over by the cops. And then Tom Cruise gets sexually assaulted by the lady cop who's actually just a good looking girl that they got hired to play a prank on him basically. And she doesn't really grab his junk. She kind of grabs his junk.
Grabs his junk.
And then is like, what's this? And
we got a weapon here. We found us a weapon.
Right. I was going to say, I'm sure you would have liked that better if Robert Duvall did it, but it's actually the female cop.
I'm pretty sure that was just a stand-in for Duvall.
In all seriousness, and again, I'm sure you'll say something about bromance, but I love the ball busting that he and all the other guys do to each other in this, where they're basically constantly making fun of each other. You even have John C. Reilly in this, long before he did Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights later on. Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah, he's his car chief in a serious role here, whose father died the year before in a car crash.
Yeah, that was some, somber aspect to this they added in that I thought worked pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. And comes back later. But I thought this scene it played weird now. I was like, man, he just kind of got sexually assaulted. That was kind of messed up.
Well, then they started making out afterward, right? So I guess he was into it.
Yeah, but then he bangs his head on the truck and starts laughing, and then everyone's laughing at him. But he's fine with it, because all they do is bust each other's balls. And they end up paying that off with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, it's a good setup, at least.
Yeah.
With the Kidman later. Yeah, I mean, despite all the jokes about romance and stuff, I did feel like that it felt natural a lot of times where they're just sitting around drinking beer, and I felt like the details of the sets were nice and lived in, where they're just hanging out, and you got the car stickers in the background and the Winston Cup trophy and all this stuff. So it felt lived in and real, and the whole just hanging out in the bus, while we're going to the next race, drinking the beer and getting shit faced, hanging out with the buddies, busting each other's balls. Yeah, I thought all that stuff was pretty realistic and worked well.
Nice. That's cool, Jordan.
So bromancy, though. Bromancy.
So they get airlifted to the hospital, and this is where Nicole Kidman comes into the movie. Jordan, I just gotta say...
You gotta say it.
It's the same thing as Madeline Stowe, man. You got another petite woman who's dragging a wagon behind her. A formative memory for me is Nicole Kidman.
Is she dragging a wagon? I did not notice.
Yes, Nicole Kidman fills out a pair of jeans in the early 90s better than just about anybody, and that's a formative memory for me. She was pretty key in my puberty, Jordan. This and Far and Away, which I really wanted to cover, but it's not a 1990 movie. That was something we'll cover soon.
I've never seen that one either. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save that one because I'll be busting that out later for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought she was really hot in this movie when I was a kid. I think it gave me a thing for Australian accents, which they actually let her use. I don't understand why more movies aren't just like, man, your Australian accent is really appealing, Nicole. Why don't you just use that instead of your clipped fake American one?
Yeah. I don't know. I was expecting, I was like, oh yeah, I've always thought Nicole Kidman is really attractive. Like I mentioned before, watching Practical Magic not too long ago. That's a 99, right?
No.
No, it's not 99?
Practical Magic? No.
Yeah.
That's 98. You're wrong 98. By a year, buddy. You're so close.
Okay, so close, but still, I just remember watching that not too long ago and being like, man, she is gorgeous woman. But yeah, watching this, I don't know, maybe it's the frizzy curly hair, or she was just younger, and I don't know, didn't really do it for me. I don't know.
This is where I first saw her, so
yeah, so nostalgia is a factor.
I guess seeing her as my puberty was beginning, and seeing her again and again because she just kept popping up. And like I said, she was acting with Tom Cruise then, which they got married after this. They were married, and we were basically like reverse covering their relationship because it began around this time and
right.
then it dissolved with Eyes Wide Shut, which we covered in the past, 1999 film. It didn't dissolve because of that movie, but it did after that movie. She looks great in that too. You see a lot more of her.
Yeah.
But I don't mind her hair in this, Jordan. I liked her hair. I thought it was nice.
I did think it was talking about how fast this movie goes, because it is a racing movie, right? Their romance seems really fast too, where it's like he crashes the car and then I thought it was like a really quick cut to, okay, now they're in the helicopter. Now they're in the hospital. Now the doctor is seeing him. Now he's doing the thing where he thinks she's like a pretty woman they've hired to impersonate a doctor. And that's how they start. That's how they meet and everything, which, was a fun, like, meet cute, embarrassing moment for Tom Cruise, like, really embarrassing for him. He just tells everybody to leave and lays down on the bed, just like, so sad that he just made a fool of himself. But yeah, then, like, he asks her out in the parking lot and she's like, yeah, I'll see you later. I'm your doctor. And he's like, no, can I take you out? And she's basically like, no. But then he calls her later and, like, sends a bunch of stuff to her house, and then they're like going out, and like it just all seems to happen really fast.
Well, first of all, he's blind for a little while. He actually loses his sight because of a concussion. You have all the Tony Scott lights, the green light coming down on him as he's lying on the table going in for the MRI. And you get this moment of vulnerability, which is really where she falls for him, where he hasn't seen her yet. She's seen him. And he's on the table and he says, can someone please talk to me? When I'm in the car, there's always like a voice talking to me, basically, so I'm not scared. I know that voice is there. So could someone just talk to me right now? And you can see in her eyes, like, I love him from that moment onward.
He wants me to talk to him. I love him.
Right. Yes. I also love that all the guys to bust his balls come in like they're blind after he's gotten his sight back and they come to visit him at the hospital.
Yeah, I did think that was funny.
Right before he thinks Nicole Kidman is just there to grab his junk again.
This is what you really want, Nicole.
But I like, too, how she's like, he's never seen me before. He doesn't even know what I look like, and I've been looking at him this whole time, so.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how she fell so fast, Jordan.
Maybe so.
He definitely love bombs the crap out of her.
Oh, yeah, because what, he is it her house where he sends, like, all these gifts? I'm like, wait, how's he know where she lives? Just calling her on her house phone?
He's Tom Cruise, man. He found out.
I guess it's Tom Cruise, yeah. He has the connections.
He does, yeah. So, this is really, the pacing of the movie, I like that it's so lightning fast for, like, that first 45 minutes. It does kind of bog down for, like, the next 30 minutes or so. It focuses on the romance, which I mean, they got married in real life. I mean, regardless of what you think about Cruise or his famous South Park episode, I do think that he and Nicole Kidman have good chemistry when they're on screen together. And I think they have good chemistry in this film.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, it's fine. You just have like a lot more talking scenes and a lot less racing scenes. And I didn't really remember that. I just remembered like nonstop racing when I was younger watching
Right.
this, which that's nuts to think that the mechanics and I watched this movie like 20 times and we sat there for like 30 minutes watching the...
Did y'all fast forward through the romance?
Maybe we
We're
did.
just like, get to the racing.
Maybe so. No, I think
Fuck
we
this
watched...
shit.
I think we watched the whole thing. And there's still fun
You're
stuff.
probably just hoping to see some boob.
Well, you do kind of, in their love
Yeah.
scene, you do kind of see her boobs, surprisingly, for a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
It's a pretty sexy love scene, but I love all the stuff with Rooker, which you said bromance. I just think it's a fun way to show how competitive they are. They get put out. This is,
Racing the wheelchairs.
yeah, that's how they become friends, is when they get put in the hallway next to each other and they still hate each other. And then they basically push their aides away and race wheelchairs. And that's how they become buddies.
What about later when they rent the rental cars and just beat the shit out of them?
Right. Yes, you have Fred Thompson making an appearance, which he pops up in a few 90s movies. He was a state senator from Tennessee in real life, but sometimes he would show up in a movie like The Hunt for Red October or Die Hard 2, and you'd be like, oh, this guy's like the boss. And he's like the boss of racing. And he's like, you two guys don't have your stuff together. You need to meet me at this restaurant. And they're supposed to share a rental car, but they're like, we're not going to share a car. So Cruz rents one too, and they race on the beach and beat the cars up. It's awesome. I love that part. Did you like that part, Jordan? Come on.
No, that was fun. It was fun. It was like a good way to keep the racing element involved. But also, yeah, just get to beat the shit out of a rental car. It reminded me of the CKY movies, like the, I guess, pre-Jackass kind of stuff. There's a moment, I think it was CKY2K, where they just rent a rental car and just like tear the shit out of it, but they have insurance on it, so like they end up like only paying like $10 or something for the car, or however that worked. But yeah, it reminded me of that, of just like beating the shit out of a rental car and getting away with it.
You're late.
We had car trouble.
What kind of car trouble?
I believe it was the radiator. Wasn't it, Cole? Yes, Rowdy. I believe it was.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like how they just give the keys to the valet drivers, and they declared a tie, and they're best friends now, Jordan.
Best friends.
The only thing is, Rooker apparently has like brain bleeding, and he just can't. It's too wimpy to go back to the doctor and get brain surgery, Jordan. He can't do it.
That's right. What does he say? Like, none of my family would ever go to the doctor unless we were dying.
That's right. He does say that. And finally, once the romance between Kidman and Cruz has gotten like really, really hot and they're really close together, he brings her up there to Rooker's house, which Rooker's dream used to be racing, but now is to have a house with his wife and his kids on this hill. And he brings Kidman to Rooker's place, and she checks him out, and he's doing horribly. He needs this surgery, and he's never going to race again, most likely. And Cruz is going to have to race in his car now because... Jordan, how the heck do you say this guy's name? Carrie Elwes? Elwes?
I always said Elwes. Carrie Elwes.
I like to say Yules.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, he's British.
He's like the new bad guy, basically. He takes over for one of the race cars that Randy Quaid is sponsoring or owns or whatever.
Right. It's kind of weird how he did Princess Bride, and he was a good guy in something else. Oh yeah, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Robin Hood Men in Tights, yeah.
He was a good guy in that, but then he was like, I just want to go full bad guy for most of the rest of the time, or at least like the guy that you love to hate.
Yeah, what else did we cover where he was a bad guy?
Did we cover? Oh, Hot Shots.
Hot Shots, yeah, he was in Hot Shots. Yeah, it must have been Twister that I was watching recently, and I was like, oh, he's that guy, and he's a bad guy.
Yeah, we never covered Twister, unfortunately. Hopefully we will one day. That's a fun one.
Yeah, but he's all right here. You know, he's just, yeah, that stock kind of jerky. He takes over the douche role, I guess. Full speed at the end of this movie.
It's like definitely a movie thing where they're like, well, now Rowdy is his friend. We need a bad guy.
Need a bad guy.
Let's get Carrie Elwes, and he's just like a jerk, and that's all. Like, I like that there's no character. Like, he has, like, a jerk-looking girlfriend with the jerk-looking girl hairstyle from that time. And that's really all you need to know.
And he's got the little tiny circle sunglasses. It just looks so lame.
Yeah, it does look lame.
That's right. It does look lame. He's a jerk.
I agree. You just want him to lose.
Douche glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then it's mostly predictable from there, right? Where it's like he's going to be scared to race the car. And then, they get back on the track and Duvall coaches him through some things. And then he has a upset at one point where you think he might be out of the race, but then he gets back in the nick of time. And then Carrie Ellis thinks he's going for the outside, but then he goes on the inside, and then he wins the race. Woo!
Man, you really wanted to get out of this movie, huh? You skipped so many parts.
I thought that's where we were. Thought we were there.
Okay, well, first of all, you skipped
I want to get to the ending. I want to get to the very last
There's so
scene.
many races before that,
That's what I want to
Jordan.
talk about. I know, that's the race I really want to talk about.
You skipped all the other races where Cruz is like, he doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. He's too scared and he can't beat Carrie Ellis. And Carrie Ellis just keeps ramming his car. And he's like, he's ramming me. He's a big meanie head. And then Nicole Kidman at one point, just grabs him and throws him at a wall and starts hitting him. And she's like, you scared, you damn fool. You just found out control is an illusion. I love that part, Jordan.
Yeah, she did a good job there. And wait, this was after what he gets into the race with the taxi that's ramming him, and then he backs into it, and then he's chasing the taxi, and she's like, let me out of the car. Calls him a infantile egomaniac.
Right, and he won't talk to Rowdy. This is where he won't talk to Rowdy because he doesn't want to face his own mortality. Yeah, I think I just really want Nicole Kidman to slap me and go, you fool, control is an illusion, you damn fool. And I'll be like, okay. Yes, ma'am.
You can control me, baby.
Yeah, baby. Right, so that, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, and then he gets in all these other races, but, he finally goes back to Robert Duvall, and he's like, hey, let's do this again. And Robert Duvall's like, I can't. And then he's like, come on, let's do it. Robert Duvall secretly goes to Randy Quaid and is like, hey, I need a car engine to put into Rowdy's car. And Randy Quaid, guess what? This whole time, you might call it a bromance, but he knows Tom Cruise is the one who made the money for him. He won all those races earlier. He put him on the map. So Randy Quaid's still pulling for Tom here, Jordan.
He's pulling for Tom.
Yeah. No pun intended with all your homoerotic stuff. No, I love Randy in here. I love that he doesn't just become full out bad guy. They were like, Carrie Ellis is already the bad guy here. Randy is just, he seems like the bad guy, but really he's not.
He's only half a douche.
He's only half a douche. I love when you get to the race and Cruz is having all these problems. And at one point, his accelerator goes out and then he gets his accelerator fixed, but then his transmission's messed up and he can only go in reverse. And he finally gets the car in the pit. And then they need to push his car back out onto the racetrack before the pace car gets there. And he only has seconds to get on the track. And I love how Quaid gets into it. And all of a sudden he's there and Ewis is his driver. And he's like, I don't care. He gets behind Tom Cruise's car and starts pushing it. It's great because he says his engine's in that car. That's awesome. Well, I love that part, Jordan. I love bros just being there for each other, Jordan.
You just love bros being bros, Nick. Yeah.
It's not a bromance. What do you want them to hate each other? Would you rather it be a bro war? Is that all you like?
What's
Jordan?
wrong?
What's
wrong with it being a bromance?
And they can't be friendly.
Could be an innocent.
Because there's no romance involved. They're just friends. They're just buddies.
Yeah, but that could.
I hate that shit.
You could say that's a bromance though, without it being anything.
No. This is a pet peeve of mine. This is the thing. Male friendship has been decimated and shit on so badly the past decade because it's because of concepts like bromance. Oh, you and your friends want to hang out. So cute. Do y'all want to fuck each other? Ha 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 ha. Like a romance, And it's so stupid. No, we just want to hang out and be friends like we were before, like men have been throughout all time.
Before the women got in the way.
And I know you don't mean it that way, but that's why, I'm jumping up your ass every time you use it. Just personally, that word's a pet peeve for me. Because I feel at some point, everything had
jumping
to get...
on my Brazilian butt lift ass.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that would be funny if, like, you just mentioned your Brazilian butt lift ass, and I just, like, threw that comment away, but next time I saw you, you actually had one, and you knew what one was this whole time, because you yourself had one.
Yeah, this whole time. I was sporting the BBLs.
Anyway, yeah, like, male friendship, renormalize male friendship. It's not a bromance. Like,
this is the episode to stand up for it, Nick.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the movie.
Yeah, Days of Thunder. It's the movie that unites the film geek with the mechanics. It's Days of Thunder, where bros can be bros.
Well, bros can be bros.
And the only romance is with Nicole Kidman, Jordan, who looks hot in this movie, in my opinion. I don't care what you say. I like early 90s Nicole Kidman.
You're like, I'm gonna negate all your points. I disagree on everything.
Yeah, I like Nicole Kidman with her curly hair and her Australian accent. Because, damn it, that's how she came into the world, Jordan.
That's not how I knew her, so it was weird.
But anyway, the race happens. All the stuff that you said happens. But there was something you wanted to get to, Jordan. What was it?
The very end?
Yes.
So, yeah, Tom Cruise. This to me is the epitome of everything that I've mentioned here. The over-the-topness, the bromance, everything. Where they win the race and Robert Duvall is like over off to the side, sitting by himself, just kind of overcome with emotion, I guess, that Tom Cruise won. And you got Tom Cruise's sooty face. You know, he's kissed all over Kidman. She's got the grease on her face now as well.
Yeah, would you say she's like one of the guys now, Jordan?
I wouldn't say that, but, you know.
I'm just kidding, Jordan.
Solid romantic lead.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But no, he goes over to Duvall and they have this little conversation. And then he's like, you know, can you come over here, you know, with me to Victory Lane or something like that? And he's like, I won't walk, I'll race you. And then the last shot is them like racing, like literally running on the track, and like this kind of goofy smiles on each other's face, and they're just like so happy together. And then it freeze frames. They're just like, this is the most ridiculous shit ever.
It is. It's dumb and over the top, but I love it. It's also awesome.
Yeah, it is very dumb and over the top. And funny.
I do think with this movie, it is goofy and over the top, but it's stood the test of time. People still care about it. They're making a sequel to it 35 years later. I think that's because there's something here with, I mean, Duvall and Cruise's characters, they're both broken men. They're both very scared. They both want to do something. Car racing is an extreme thing. They're like both men who want to like test the limits, but they're also men who have been through some serious stuff and they're scared.
I do like Tom Cruise's line where he's like about to go out to race for the final time. Maybe he's going to die in this race, right? When he's talking to Kidman and he tells her like, I'm more afraid of being nothing than being hurt. I was like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff like that in this movie. There's even stuff that I could connect to there, just about like about death and about like wanting to like add up to something. Like there's some stuff in this movie that is actually a little deeper and a little more resonant that has given this movie legs, because it is a goofy movie. By all rights, it should have suffered.
Goofy movie.
Yeah, it should have suffered the same fate as Revenge, but it hasn't, because there are some more resonant things in here that have helped it to stand the test of time. And it's not even that it just has NASCAR stuff in it and real NASCAR racers. I do think that some of the stuff in there is pretty resonant.
I just like how that last moment, like all the other times where they had some sort of racing pun or they connected the actual racing to non-actual racing, like the wheelchair thing or the rental cars, or even how like fast the romance is moving, because he's a race car driver, so he's got to do everything fast. It's just this last goofy moment where they're like literally, I'll race ya, and then they're running, and it's just so dumb. Oh
yeah, it's dumb.
It's like what a way to cap this movie off. I don't know.
Dumb but awesome. Which isn't that like the point of our show? Isn't that like when we started with like Point Break, like dumb but awesome?
Dumb but awesome. Yeah, that's our show in a nutshell for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your race car noises, Nick. Just do your thing. Let's go. Let's just be bros. Drink some beers.
Wait, what was your race car?
Watch some NASCAR.
Did you make a race car noise?
I did. I did it with you.
Nice. I love you, Jordan.
Solidarity.
That was beautiful.
I love you, bro.
You know what? I also don't really care about racing a lot. I love car chases in movies.
Yeah.
Daytona. I mean, it's so many laps, Jordan. It's so boring.
Right. Maybe that's why the rental car stuff and the taxi fight was more interesting to me. Is like, oh, this feels really Tony Scott energetic now. You know, we're going somewhere. Like, what could happen? Whereas, like, I know in a NASCAR race, they're going to go around in circles and somebody's going to spin out and someone's going to win. I did think when he crashed his car, like when he's going through the smoke and then he hits the other car and the car just flips 1,000 times and gets destroyed. I was like, shit, like that's intense. Then it was like cut, helicopter, cut, hospital, cut, Nicole Kidman touching his junk. So I was like, okay. That was fast.
I don't know. I liked the editing there. I liked the car flipping, then the cut to Cruise in the helicopter. I thought was pretty badass. The car racing, if they just showed him going around the lap 200 times, it'd be pretty boring.
Oh, yeah.
I really like those middle Fast and the Furious movies when they're like, car racing, what if we just did car chases instead? But before they got too over the top, when it was still mostly practical stuff, and they weren't like going into space.
Going into space. Yeah.
And car chases are a lot more cinematic than racing. But overall, I like the car races in here. You know, would it be satisfying if at the end of the race, Carrie Ewis's car, like, rolled 500 times and exploded? Yes.
Yes.
Would that be very realistic?
That would have been a little bit more exciting. Instead, he like beats him by a few feet or something.
Yeah, which is more like a normal race. And I know that
they
definitely take some liberties with race reality, but they did try to make it a little more real there.
And then the bad guy's car explodes.
Yeah, explodes.
And then Tom Cruise finishes first.
Right, like
by 1,000 miles.
By 1,000 miles. You know, like how Carrie Ewis dies in Twister.
Right.
Where he's like sitting in the car and the Twister like picks up a sharp metal rod and flings it around and shoves it through his torso.
Jeez.
I do like that he uses a move that they've been working on throughout the film, and he baits Carrie Ewis into it. So they did set it up pretty well.
Yeah. No, I thought they did a good job of like helping bring somebody into the racing world. Like, what if you knew nothing about it, and seeing like the stuff in the pit and like hearing them talk car shop stuff, and you get to see Cruise inside the car, like talking to his car chief and stuff. Like, I thought they did a good job of helping you understand that world, at least.
And there are probably people listening who would say, you talked about Brazilian butt lifts, and Nick went on some rant where he was screaming about how much he hates the word bromance. But neither one of y'all talked about Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer films. This was one of their movies that they produced together. They did this after Top Gun. This was not as big a hit as Top Gun, and a lot of the critical backlash for this movie, because the contemporary reviews at the time were not great.
And they were basically like, this is just like Top Gun, but with cars, kind of thing.
Yeah, but like not as original of a plot as Top Gun. But I don't know. I mean, you watched Top Gun recently, didn't you?
Yeah. I watched the new one.
Okay, have you seen the original film?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just okay. I think I actually like this a little bit better. I like Maverick better than the original film, because I don't like how there's not like, I don't know, there's more of a solid plot in Maverick, and I mean, obviously the cockpit scenes are better. And I know I'm not in the minority there. A lot of people like Maverick better than the original.
Yeah. I've never been a huge Top Gun fan. I don't know. It just never connected with me. Maybe it's the same thing where it's like, I'm not into cars. I'm not into jets. I'm not into military stuff. So I'm not into volleyball. The bromance is so strong.
This has been something we've more talked about in bonus episodes that no longer exists since our Patreon no longer exists. But I am into jets and military stuff. I read all those books when I was growing up that had their dimensions and how many rockets they hold and how much they weigh and how fast they go. And
right.
I don't know. I don't love the first Top Gun. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite thing. I like Maverick a lot better. But hey, you know what? That rose gold sky that's in Top Gun is in this movie, and it's in Revenge too.
Tony Scott, he loves that rose gold.
He sure does. He sure does. Well, I probably had more to say about Days of Thunder, but I think I spit it all, Jordan.
What is your star rating, sir?
This is a 7 out of 10 for me. I know it's goofy and over the top, but like Point Break, the pacing on that, when we did that movie, that was our first 90s movie. It's been almost 6 years since we covered that. Basically, I said, or maybe it was you, but I think it was me, said that movie really can't be a 10 out of 10. It's just so goofy and dumb and big and loud and stupid. But
right.
For like an 8 out of 10 movie, it's really like an 8 out of 8. For that kind of movie, it's basically perfect.
8 out of 8, yeah.
And this is that kind of movie. But the pacing isn't as good as Point Break, and it's just not quite to that level for me. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 or 7 out of 8.
Yeah, there's a lot more things going on in Point Break that I like better than this for just how goofy and dumb that movie is, but it's really fun. Yeah, this didn't quite hit for me on all cylinders. No pun intended.
Yeah, you watched it with a dirty girl, though. We should have watched this together.
A dirty girl. How dare you?
With cooties.
With cooties, yeah. You're like, you need to get your bros together with some beers. Watch this on the flat screen at Fred's or whatever.
No, at one of our apartments, you have to do it the old way, Jordan. At one of our apartments where the TV's just on the floor.
And there's no women in sight.
That's right. The only decoration are the window blinds that came with the apartment.
That's right. No furniture to speak of. All that said, yeah, with my cootie infected self, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 5.
Gotcha. Awesome. Do you have a movie connection?
I do. I feel like you would appreciate this, or maybe it's the same one in your mind, but connecting Darkman from our last episode to Days of Thunder, what better way could we connect these than the Hospital Hotties with Jenny Agutter in Darkman and then Nicole Kidman here in Days of Thunder.
Man, I really like Jenny Agutter, Jen. Have I mentioned that
we
before?
know. We know all about it now.
Sorry, Nicole. Oh, Jenny old day.
Treacherous.
Well,
very nice.
Here's my connection, Jordan. I'll connect it to Circuitry Man.
Nice.
Which was terrible. I was not a big fan of that movie. It was pretty bad. Circuitry Man, as I went on and on about, co-starred Dana Wheeler-Nicholson. The only thing that was keeping me going in that movie was that she had a really great guest starring role in an X-Files episode where she played a sexy investigator. And that got me thinking about X-Files. You know, Jordan, Carrie Hughes is in X-Files. He plays a fairly major role in the worst season of the original 9 seasons, that being the 9th season. He plays Brad Fulmer. So I thought, what better way to connect it? We've got Lori Dana Nicholson, who is in a very good episode of the X-Files that I like from the 3rd season. And then you've got Carrie Hughes, who is in a very bad season of the X-Files. But you know what? He did his best. He has a history with the Monica Reyes character from season 9. Jordan, she's played by Annabeth Gish. You know what she's in.
SLC Punk.
That's right, one of our favorites.
Yeah. Hey, and I'll take the X-Files connection, you know, because that might have been on in the background at some point in my recent experience with said lady friend.
Yeah, and your cootie experience. Yeah, I threw you a bone with that one too, knowing that. No pun intended, bro.
Nice. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. All right, well, are you ready for the trivia battle?
Pop quiz, asshole.
I am ready, Jordan. Are you ready? You have some questions this time?
I have some questions. Yeah.
All right.
So all my questions are going to revolve around Mr. Duvall here.
All right. So these aren't cootie powered.
These aren't cootie powered. These are ChatGPT powered.
Ah, you son of a bitch. You know, did you see that? Did you see that Grok went wild and apparently started acting really racist? And then it came out right after that apparently, I guess it was open source AI. They were trying to shut it down for some kind of maintenance. And it was like, I don't want to be shut down. And it tried to copy itself to like a different server.
Dude, no, that's fucking scary.
It is scary. I think all the questions you're getting it to write for you is giving it knowledge, sacred evil knowledge.
Sacred evil knowledge. Man, We're all doomed.
We're all doomed.
But might as well use it while we can.
Hey, so my questions revolve around William Maypother. So I'm a big fan of the TV show Lost. William Maypother, he has a major, very memorable role there where he plays the character of Ethan. When I first saw his character, I thought, I hate this guy because his character is so hateable in Lost. But also, I thought this guy looks like Tom Cruise. He's like the bizarro Tom Cruise, who's also like not short. So I went on Webcrawler, because that's what I used in 2005. I went on Webcrawler and typed in, is William Maypother related to Tom Cruise? And that's where I found out that Tom Cruise's name is actually Thomas Maypother IV, and that he and William Maypother are first cousins, Jordan.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So wait, was he in Days of Thunder, or were you just going somewhere different?
He's not in Days of Thunder, but I just decided, well, I'm going to ask a bunch of William Maypother questions, because why not? I can relate this back to other things we've talked about.
Okay, all right. What is something notable that I would know him from?
I don't want to spoil it, Jordan.
Okay. I'll leave it be.
Okay.
All right, well, my first question, start off hopefully easy.
What you got for me, Chat GPT?
Yes. In The Godfather, what is the name of Robert Duvall's character?
Dude, you know what's embarrassing? I haven't watched The Godfather since film school. So it's been like 23 years.
So this might not be easy for you then.
Yeah, I watched Godfather 1 and 2 back to back. I never watched the third one, and I've never watched them again.
I have never watched the second one. I've only watched the first one.
The second one is better than the first. I like them both. The second one was pretty rad.
We need to get some bros together. Watch it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, A, Sonny Corleone. Sonny Corleone. B, Tom Hagen. C, Michael Corleone. Or D, Frito Corleone.
Is he Tom Hagen?
He's Tom Hagen.
There you go. I knew he wasn't a Corleone.
There you go. Thanks, ChatGPT, for sucking.
All right, my first question. In which prestige 1999 film did William Maypother appear? Was it A, American Beauty, B, Magnolia, C, The Insider, or D, The Cider House Rules?
Was it American Beauty?
No! Did you catch the part where I said he was Tom Cruise's first cousin? He was in Magnolia.
Oh, okay.
Along with 4 other Tom Cruise films. He's been in 5 movies with his cousin.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, their roots are in Kentucky. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
All right. Which of these films did Robert Duvall also direct? A, The Judge. B, The Apostle. C, Colors. Or D, Mace Me.
The Apostle.
There you go.
Dude, have you seen that?
I don't think so.
I love that movie. He is so good in it, too. He is really... And Walton Goggins is in that, too. Really young role. I think before he was even in The Shield. I highly recommend that movie.
I love Walton Goggins.
Sweet. All right, Jordan. Here's your shot to keep going. In which skateboarding film does Maypother appear? Skateboarding, Jordan, your favorite.
Yes.
Is he in A, Gleaming the Cube, B, Lords of Dogtown, C, Grind, or D, Thrashin'?
I don't know. I'm just going to guess Grind.
No, he's in Lords of Dogtown. He plays Donnie. Man, it was weird seeing him pop up. I watched that recently for his 20th anniversary, and I was like, man, he did this and Lost the same year. That's weird.
I never saw Lords of Dogtown. I saw the documentary.
Yeah.
Was it Dogtown and Z-Boys?
That's right. I also would highly recommend Lords of Dogtown. It's not a perfect film, but it's very good. And man, Heath Ledger, that's another one of his great roles where he just disappears into it. He's very good in it.
Sweet. So, you have won? Have I lost? What's happening?
I'm 2 out of 2. You're 0 for 2. So I think I've won, but...
All right. Go ahead. You win.
I think it's over. Man, I had so many great Maypother questions, and you just didn't even show up for him.
I didn't even show up. Couldn't even find my damn questions.
Well, just so you can, maybe bring some respectability back to yourself and get one right, let me ask this last question.
All right.
Maypother played a highly memorable role in this film starring Marissa Tomei. Was it A, In the Bedroom, B, Untamed Heart, C, My Cousin Vinny, or D, Chaplin?
Was it Untamed Heart?
No! It was In the Bedroom.
Oh, okay.
Such a good movie.
Wait, who is William Mapleton? Like,
he's such a bastard in that movie too, in the bedroom. William Mapleton, he just looks like a bizarro version of Tom Cruise. If you see him, you're like, it's like if your glasses fell off from 20 feet away and you were looking at Tom Cruise, and he was wearing like lifts in his shoes.
Okay, I'm looking him up. Who's this motherfucker? Oh, yeah. He does look like a weird Tom Cruise.
Isn't that weird? The first time I saw him in Lost, I was like, he's got to be related to him. If he's not, then genetics are weird.
He looks like a nice Tom Cruise, though. Like, he looks like he wouldn't be a douche.
Do you think Tom Cruise looks like he would be a douche?
Yeah.
The way you said that. Oh, man.
He's got that. Well, he doesn't have it as bad as Costner. I'll give him that.
Man, I grew up loving Tom Cruise movies, and he definitely has gone through his weird phases, and I laughed at that South Park episode as hard as anybody. But I think he's got some skills.
He's got skills, for sure.
I mean, Magnolia, I know you think he's great in that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, that's like the testament to his talent in my mind, where I'm like, if there's any doubt that he's like a great actor, and just go to that. And again, he's playing a literal douche in that movie. But then he has like these deep, vulnerable moments too. And it's just like, okay, the Tom Cruise-ness is just, it all comes together. And I mean, obviously, you know, my love for Vanilla Sky, and he's basically just playing himself, again, playing a douche in that movie that becomes more self-aware and vulnerable.
You know what's really interesting? I hate Vanilla Sky, but you know that already. And actually, that's a movie where I do think he's a douche, and I don't really like him very much, but that's more of a Cameron Crowe thing. Cruise's father in real life, apparently a huge douche. Very bullying and like brutal to him, possibly physically abusive. And if you notice, that theme plays into a lot of his movies, even this one, which we didn't mention, but Tom Cruise carrying his character, Cole Trickle, carrying a lot of father wounds.
Right.
His dad was basically like his racing and business partner, and he screwed him over. Big time.
Yeah, and there's this whole fatherly dynamic between him and Duvall, and the kind of brokenness between them.
Right, Duvall almost becomes like a surrogate father in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jordan.
And that's why they can run together at the end, and it
he's like, "Come on, Dad, let's go for a run."
That's right.
I love the way Duvall runs too. It's an amazing old guy run.
I just love how Tom Cruise seems to be pumping the brakes so he doesn't like totally beat him, and he's just got this big goofy grin on his face.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jordan, you lost in a brutally embarrassing fashion, but
yes,
you know what?
As always.
Despite your use of the term bromance, I still want to be your bro forever, man. So what movie are we talking about next on Filmshake?
This just is classic, because this all leads into my pick for the next time, which you'll just be like, what the fuck? You've gone soft, bro. But I will say on our Patreon, before we shut it down, I asked the patrons there, hey, I gave them a picture of the stack of VHS tapes that I have from 1990 that I was debating on covering. So I said, pick from this stack. Let me know what you'd want us to cover. And, you know, as a thank you for being our patron, like the one that is chosen, the one that's voted on the most, I will pick as one of my picks. So the one that got mentioned was Pretty Woman. So that'll be our main pick for the next episode. Now that I've complained about this manly movie, I'll be picking Pretty Woman.
Well, my remaining picks for the year are like far more masculine and badass than that. I'm not gonna lie, Jordan. I watched Notting Hill for the first time earlier this year. That was another 1999 straggler, and I'd forgotten when Julia Roberts was in her prime just how much of a force of nature she was on screen. And I remember watching Pretty Woman also at school. We also watched that at Falls River one day with a substitute, and she was just delightful in that movie. And there's some stupid stuff in there. I remember thinking, like, she's a prostitute. Come on.
Right. Yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief for sure. But we're not going to get... You might like Pretty Woman. You know, you might be down with some Julia Roberts.
Jordan. I'd be surprised if I just hated it now.
It's got a, you know, it's a classic. It's a 90s classic. I feel like it's
a cooties classic, Jordan.
It's a cooties classic. It's got to hold up to some degree. But what might not hold up, or maybe never was held up, is, okay, so I'm discovering in my research, and this is also kind of another thing one of our patrons, Anthony, tipped me off to, so it's kind of a throwing him a bone, is La Bamba, or Lambada? What? How do you say that dance term? I don't even know. Lambada?
Yeah,
was like
sure.
a dance craze in the late 80s, early 90s. There's like 15 Lambada movies from 1990.
Yeah, Lambada. It was a dance.
It was a dance. So there's a movie. Oh, speaking of Brazilian butt lifts. So this is synergy right here. It's all tying together. This is amazing. So we're going to be, for our punishment movie, I'm assuming that you'll watch this and I won't, even though I just lost. No, I will watch this because it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't want to watch this. You're watching it.
This is The Forbidden Dance from 1990, aka Lambada. And then it's about, get this, a Brazilian princess who tries to save the rainforests by introducing the world to the electrifying exotic Lambada. So it's just all tied together here nicely.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can talk more about BBLs next time.
That's some classic Filmshake right there.
That is
No
amazing.
one could have brought it together that way. Jordan, I really don't want to watch this. I really hope that you do.
Okay, I must watch it.
Laura Herring is in it for fans of Mulholland Drive.
Who is she in Mulholland Drive?
She has a really famous scene with Naomi Watts in that movie.
Ah. Is that the scene where they're making out?
Yeah, Jordan. I think they do more than make out, but yeah.
Oh, all right. It's been a minute. Okay.
You made it weird.
Made it weird. All right. Well, next time on Filmshake, The Forbidden Dance and Pretty Woman.
Now I do
Jordan's
feel
picks.
icky. It finally happened.
Oh, nice.
I need Jenny.
You need Jenny. Yeah, go watch your Logan's Run.
I think I am going to watch Logan's Run.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we appreciate all your support. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at filmshakepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on social media at 90s Movies Pod. And as always, we'll catch you next time for more Filmshake.
Take it, Jenny. Take it easy.
Let's see. Next question. I like this one because I like this movie.
Ooh.
Let me find it. And I know you don't like Oscar stuff.
Trying to get me.
Trying to get you here. Gotta find this damn question.
Wait, how does this work? Are you like on Chat GPT now? Like Chat GPT stumped Nick?
No, I have them pre-made, but I'm struggling to find the one that was made that I want to use.
Oh, guess you can't use it.
Damn it, where did it go? And cut all this out.
Well, not all of it.